Hey there, Mr. Redder here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parent Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. Karen complains to our hotel, so I canceled her reservation. After that, am I the jerk for banning my little cousin from my room? And after that, taking the work news to the news. Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen gets kicked out of a hotel. You said you'd leave the lights on for me. So please smash that like button. And subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. Karen complains to our hotel, so I canceled her reservation. Here I am working the front desk at the hotel, enjoying a perfectly normal Sunday night when I get a phone call. It's 11 p.m. and most sane people have already decided to bed down in preparation for tomorrow. So imagine my surprise when one of my few remaining arrivals lets me know that they have a 1-year-old and that they need a crib. Cribs are on a first-come, first-served basis. These people are calling at 11 at night on the day of their arrival. I go and check for cribs. Shock of shocks, there are none left. The person on the phone insists that they put on their reservation that they need a crib. I go and look on the reservation. Nope, there is no such indication. I advise the person on the phone, the wife as it turns out, that we're out of cribs, that they're first-come, first-serve, and they've all been taken. She hangs up on me. Fine, whatever. Maybe they'll buzz off and find other accommodations. Ha! You know darn good and well that's not how this story goes. Man walks into our lobby, tells me he needs to check in. Okay, I ask his name. He tells me, and I immediately recognize it as the name of the person who called before. Lucky me. He confirms that we have no cribs left and launches into a tirade about how it's on his reservation. It's not. It's our fault if something happens to his baby, and he feels that the conditions are unsafe. He proceeds to try to argue every possible way to place liability on the hotel for his failure to prepare. Finally, I've had enough. Well, sir, I don't want you to be in a situation where you feel unsafe. I'll just cancel your reservation, and you can contact the third party with whom you've made your original reservation, and they can find you a hotel that has a crib. This guy has a lawsuit waiting to happen, and I'm not interested in listening to the story about his baby getting hurt through his failure to prepare, and now he's blaming the hotel. He smugly informs me that it's prepaid and I can't cancel it. Wanna bet? Watch this. I make the necessary clicks, and it's gone. Folks, I want a snapshot of the face he made when he realized that not only I could cancel his reservation, but I did. That wide-eyed, fleeting moment of shock and awe. It was at this moment that he knew he messed up. He storms out to his car, comes back in with his wife. You know, the one who hung up on me earlier? She tells him to shut up and shushes him. Good on her, that was a smart move. But alas, that's the only smart move she makes. We have a 1-year-old baby, she says. My baby is your problem. We can't go anywhere else. I don't want to try searching for another hotel. You need to bring our reservation back. I was really looking forward to trying to incriminate your hotel. We can't call the company we made the reservations with. If we don't stay here, I can't sue you for my ineptitude. We don't have any choice. I don't like the choice you gave me. This goes on, with both of them getting more and more heated. The husband threatening to dial 911. Good luck. They take at least an hour to get here, and they do nothing when they arrive. I start thinking I'm going to be stuck with these idiots forever when the wife decides to bless me with her kindness. Thanks to this woman, I receive a solution to this situation so I can get them out of my hair and make them someone else's problem. The solution? I am going to sue you, and I am going to film you. Oh, thank you, lady. Thank you for your help. Without your stupidity, I'm not sure how I would have gotten rid of you. I inform the woman that because she's threatened legal action, I'm no longer able to assist them and they should speak to the company's lawyers. Turn around and go to the back room, close and lock the door. Come out 5 minutes later and they're gone, never to be seen again. Say it with me. A failure to prepare on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine. Also, per the title of this post, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Speaking of hotels, what's your favorite hotel you've ever stayed at? Please let us know. I'm quite fond of Motel 6 myself. Am I the jerk for banning my little cousin from my room? I, female 20, have a Barbie doll collection. I've been collecting them for my entire life. I have over 30 collectible and limited dolls, all still in box in perfect condition. They're on display in my room. My parents invite my little cousins over quite a bit, and of course, they come in my room sometimes to look at the dolls. I don't mind. They know not to touch. One of my cousins, let's call her Anna, who's 12, seemed particularly interested in my dolls. She was asking me which ones were my favorite, most valuable, ones I had the longest, etc. I was showing her my favorite one that I got it when I was a kid, and it's worth about $500. It's my favorite doll. After I finished telling her about it, we left my room and we all went downstairs to chill. I noticed all my cousins were playing except for Anna, who had disappeared sometime while everyone else was still playing. I didn't think much of it, just thought she was in the bathroom or outside playing. But after about 15 minutes, I got suspicious and went upstairs to my room. There was Anna, playing with my $500 Barbie doll. She not only opened it, but completely destroyed the box in the process. My heart dropped. I lost it. I screamed at her and told her she was never allowed in my room again. She started crying, saying she didn't know she couldn't play with it, but that's a lie. I always tell them to look, not touch. It also felt suspicious she opened the one doll I told her was the most important to me. When my aunt came back to pick my cousins up, Anna ran to her saying I yelled at her for playing with my toys and banned her from my room. My aunt was furious with me and demanded that I apologize to Anna. I refused and told my aunt she owed me a new doll. My aunt told me no doll should be worth $500 and she will not replace it. My family is divided over this. Some are on my side, but some say that I can't expect my aunt to pay $500 for another doll. So, am I the jerk? Small update. I've decided to send this thread to the family group chat, along with proof of what the doll is worth. As some people have pointed out, the doll is actually worth nearly $1,000. I think I'll be able to get more family on my side, and hopefully my aunt will read it too and see that she is wrong. Small update too. After sending this thread to my family group chat, I have everyone on my side. They understand that this isn't just a toy, but something of real value. Still, no word with my aunt, but I am hopeful my family will be able to influence her to replace the doll without having to go to court. Also, some of you seem to think I just had the doll laying around and was waving it in front of her, teasing her that she couldn't play with it. That wasn't the case. I've had this collection since I was a baby, so the dolls are no secret to anyone in my family. She also doesn't play with dolls, never has. The way she ripped the box excessively makes me near 100% sure that this was done on purpose. Tell your aunt to pay, or you'll let a small claims court decide, not the jerk. This. Plus, buy a lock for your door and no longer let any of them in your room unsupervised. Set up a camera too. This kid is way too old for this behavior, and you should definitely sue over the price to replace it because you can never be sure you'll get a proper replacement for list price plus all the emotional investment. File the claim, and any flack you get should be met with, what kind of parent raises a kid to the age of 12 that doesn't understand not to touch or destroy other people's valuables? I have collectibles, and this hits home. I wouldn't bother with threats at this point. I'd rather go right to filing a lawsuit of around $1,000 or so and go from there. Not the jerk. I'd even threaten to take your aunt to small claims court. Your cousin is old enough to know fully well what she was doing. Buying a replacement is the least your aunt can do. She can't truly make up for the fact all of your efforts over the years of you treasuring and keeping that doll pristine and untouched have been deliberately trashed. The cousin even went out of her way to find out and target the doll most precious to you. If you don't fight to make them recognize the importance of your doll and the gravity of what your cousin has done, no one else will. $500 from their pocket to yours only goes part way to teaching them the lesson. Your cousin should be punished on top of that, but you only have control over access to you and your room from now on to levy that yourself. Well, what would you do in this situation? Would you go ahead and sue your aunt or not? Please let us know. $1,000 for a Barbie doll? Talk about a hedge on inflation. Taking the work news to the news. I'm still unsure if it's really compliance, but my ex-employer announced some news regarding our jobs. It was obviously false, but instead of calling the BS, I treated it exactly as I would have if it was true, and it bounced back in their face. It was a while ago when I was working in a community-based organization. We provided end-of-the-line shelter for people and did rights advocacy in a medium town, about 100,000 people. The salary was low but okay, but most employees were there because they believed in what we did. The main problem was the manager. She didn't act accordingly to the set of values the organization was based on. She was grossly overpaid compared to employees, took everything personal, made sure we were cut off from the administrators, and created an atmosphere where people feared retribution. We were unionized, but after a few months, I realized no one was ever filing complaints, even for trivial matters, because they feared she was going to lash back at them. Turns out she had done it to a few people in the past. Once I figured I wasn't going to stay there much longer, I decided to sign all of the complaints I could. According to union, I could sign anything I witnessed, even if I wasn't the target, and figured I would see them to the end and leave. That way, administrators could claim not knowing, and there was a chance for my colleagues to have a better work environment. So, of course, the next few months were horrible. She picked on me regularly. Still, most people sided with me, at least privately, most of them fearing she would do the same treatment to them if they declared it publicly. One morning, she calls a staff meeting and explains that a large amount of complaints have been filed in the last months, looks at me, and the cost to settle them or to pay the lawyers to fight them might bankrupt the organization, and everyone is thus at risk of losing their job soon. Insert ominous music. Panic ensues. My colleagues are crying. They're calling their significant others. A lot of people are begging me to take them back, stating she got the lesson. Some of them are genuinely upset at me. In my opinion, it was obviously BS made to turn them against me. I mean, the sole emergency housing of a 100,000 people city, annually filled at 115% capacity, would be closing for a dozen complaints where I'm not even asking for money in any form, over legal fees which are usually budgeted in advance? Come on, it's basic fear brewing schemes. Normally, I would have questioned it during the meeting or tried to reason with them afterwards, but that time, I decided to comply with the narrative and treat it as true. I left for my break and did what I would have done if we were really closing, appealing to the public outrage to help us fulfill our mission. I called the news, told them verbatim the morning announcement, the service hole it would create in the community, the job impact it would have in the city, etc. The local news picked it up. They called the manager and administrators about running the story, questioning how come there were enough complaints to threaten a 35-year-old pillar of the community services, asking what the complaints were about, etc. Before 4 p.m. that same day, we had another meeting to explain that we must have misunderstood the first meeting, as the organization was in no way, shape, or form in danger of closing. Sure, we must have misunderstood. Moral of the story: let those who brewed the trouble drink it. Too casual for work. For context, I have a few piercings, dyed hair, rainbow glasses, and a sticker-clad cane. People are going to stare anyway. May as well give them something to stare at. I'm also pretty casual. I afford expected respect to people, but especially since I work in fast food and only have a few coworkers, I, and my other coworkers and managers, don't see a reason to be excessively professional. I was hired with all of these visible and have never been told to remove them. Both GM and regional manager know. A new manager got hired. She met me about a week ago. Within 3 days of meeting me, she started commenting on a lot of my behavior and appearance, to the point of demanding I fix my appearance immediately, when I told her I didn't see how my appearance affected my ability to do my job. Now, I have no problem removing the piercings or dyeing my hair a more natural color, but my glasses are pretty necessary for my current situation. I can sort of see about 4 or 5 feet away with them. Without them, I'm basically useless, and nothing can fix it at this point, so I've stopped bothering with an ophthalmologist. And I speak to my coworkers the way they speak to me. We're all pretty casual and friendly. Also, the only thing she noted that was maybe against policy is the earrings, but we're technically allowed 2 stud piercings, and that's what I have. Either way, whatever. I was fine taking them out. But in a stroke of genius, I went, all right. I took out my piercings and tucked my hair into my hat. She decided to insist my glasses were just aesthetic, because of course, real people who need glasses only wear black or metal frames. So I took them off, got sent back to work. At this point, everything is gray, so one of my coworkers led me back to my spot on the line. She then got on me about my performance dropping and accused me of doing it to spite her. I told her I couldn't see, and then she started nagging me about how I needed to treat her with respect. She's not my friend. and once again commented on how casually I talk to people. So I drew inspiration from one of my favorite video game characters and started speaking like Fischl. Not well, but enough that it was obvious what I was doing. Alas, without my spectacles, 'tis but a blur. I also ignored her or pretended not to understand if she used any informal terms towards me. Those shenanigans continued until another manager came in, saw me without my glasses, and got on the new manager, and told me to put everything back to normal. Apparently, I look like a legal issue waiting to happen without my glasses and piercings. I overheard things like, "I just don't feel appreciated for the work I do here," and "Acer was being intentionally obstinate." I also overheard the older manager tell her that I am, in fact, legally blind and had every right to pursue legal action for an ADA violation. I don't know the laws well enough to know if it was, nor would I have had the money to sue, but the idea someone would assume I could made me feel a bit satisfied. I ended up getting my ability to wear my piercings returned too, endorsed by the GM and everything. Not the thing I cared about, but a nice pro. I'm pretty sure I've angered the new manager though. Oh well, I don't talk to her, she doesn't talk to me, and that's fine. She's been the subject of criticism by my coworkers though, and I'm pretty sure if your entire store has 7 active employees, you're not going to last long there when none of them like you. Am I the jerk for leaving the restaurant after my boyfriend refused to pay for my meal? I had lent my boyfriend some money a few weeks ago because of something he needed, and he promised to pay me back ASAP. He was supposed to pay me back 5 days ago, but something came up and he didn't. I tried to be patient. Yesterday, we had planned to go out with some friends at night for dinner. Yesterday, after I came back from work, I was robbed on the bus and I had all my money and cards stolen. I canceled my cards, but the bank customer service told me my new card with my new details, both physical cards and the digital details for Apple Pay, would be available the following morning because the banks were closed that afternoon. So I had no money. When we went to dinner with my boyfriend and friends, I told my boyfriend if he could just pay me back the money or at least pay for my meal since I have no money. He didn't exactly say yes or no, just a simple, "Don't worry." After we ordered, he only ordered for himself and told me that he can't cover for mine at the moment, so I better not order anything and just have some bites from his meal. I was so mad and frustrated because he had promised to give me back the money. He then claimed something came up and couldn't give them back, but then ordered a nice meal for himself and just told me to get his scraps because he wouldn't pay me back, or at least for my meal. I'd be the only one sitting there with no meal in front of me. I said this is ridiculous, and I got up and left. Our friends now believe it was very low of me to get up and leave, and how I should have just been polite and stayed there. I can't quite understand that logic, but is there any way I am the jerk here? Not the jerk. You may want to reconsider your relationship here. Did you tell your friends or your boyfriend that you were robbed? If yes, and they acted like this, then they are not your friends. OP. Yes, my boyfriend was the first person I told, and I told my friends before we sat down at the restaurant. And none of them offered to pay for you? I stand by my comment. Some friends you have. Not the jerk. Get better friends and a boyfriend. Also, get your money back. At this point, she needs to leave that sorry excuse for her boyfriend and bring him to small claims court to get her money. She's never going to get it back willingly and is walking all over her. Excuse me? Your friend said what? OMG, I would be fuming. Your boyfriend completely humiliated you, and your friends who were there don't see this as a problem? Dump the boyfriend and the friends, not the jerk. OP. Yes, they also said I ruined the mood and caused a scene by leaving, and I made it awkward for everyone there. Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or her boyfriend? Please let us know. If that were us, I would have poured my drink all over your head before walking away. Am I the jerk for insisting to be called doctor by my boyfriend's father? I, 27 male, have been dating my boyfriend, 26 male, for about 3 years now, and have known his family for a little bit under that. His father is a doctor, and when we met for the first time, asked me to call him Dr. XYZ. Edit, he's a PsyD for those wondering. I didn't know this was all that relevant, which is why I wasn't specific. Personally, I think this is weird, especially since he still insists on it despite me having known him for well over 2 years now. That being said, my boyfriend assured me it's just a matter of respect for him because that is his professional title and that I shouldn't think anything of it. He calls his father Dad, or by his first name, but has told me that in the past, his dad sometimes asked to be called Doctor, similar to how someone would want to be called Sir. I just recently finished my PhD, and now am officially a doctor too. Like I said, I don't put too much stock into professional titles, but it is cool to finally be done with it, and I've been bragging recently, just because it's such a big achievement for me. When meeting up with my boyfriend's family, I told everyone that I had finished my degree, and they all congratulated me, including my boyfriend's dad, who told me, "Congrats, OP, but don't expect me to start calling you doctor." I wasn't really expecting him to do that, to be honest, but the way he said it really struck me, so I replied, "Why not? I've given you the professional courtesy." To which he said, "That's not the same." At this point, I'm really confused, because I didn't mean for this to turn into an actual argument, but I'm just really confused by the sudden shift attitude. I respond by saying, "I don't really see how it's different. I never understood why I should address you as doctor, to be honest, and was always told it was a matter of professional courtesy. Now, I'd like the same courtesy back, or I'm not going to give it to you anymore." The argument just sort of went in circles from there until I eventually said, "Whatever, I'm just not going to respond to you calling me by my first name anymore," and did that consequently for the rest of the night. When my boyfriend and I got back home, he got mad at me for trying to one-up his dad and causing a fight. I do feel like I could have dropped it. Like I said, I don't really care about being called doctor, but at the same time, I feel like his dad's behavior was complete BS. Not the jerk. Stand your ground, OP. You are just as much of a doctor as he is. In fact, the title doctor was originally used to reference PhDs, while medical doctors were called physicians. So the title is actually more fitting for you. Edit. OP updated his post that the dad has a PsyD, not an MD. The audacity. OP, feel free to require that he call you doctor if he continues to insist that you do the same. OP, your boyfriend's dad is somehow either too much of a snob or he has a severe inferiority complex. I know a lot of people with higher education, including medical professionals, and no one would tell their kids' partners to call them by their professional title in family situations. And I would ask your boyfriend if he's really this comfortable with his dad talking to you in such manner. His dad may be academically educated, but his rudeness and lack of manners makes him no better than a rock. No offense to rocks. If he insists on being referred to by his professional title as a professional courtesy, he should have no problem applying that logic in reverse. I think the real issue you've unearthed is it was never about professional courtesy. It was a power play on his part. Not the jerk. Not the jerk, but your boyfriend and his dad are. His dad's behavior is ridiculous, making you call him doctor in non-professional circumstances, and it sounded insecure of him to announce that he wouldn't give you any professional courtesy back once you got your PhD. Am I the jerk for not correcting my kids who told my ex's wife she's not their mother? I have two sons, ages 10 and 12, with my ex. We broke up over a number of issues, one of which was Emily, a woman he had worked with for years. The two of them grew very close, and she was always telling me how my ex deserved better than me, that I was trying to steal his family away from him. A few times, she even pretended to be his wife during work functions, and my ex would laugh them off, as well as that he was really bad with money and other stuff. After we separated, he made things official with Emily, which came as no surprise to me. Emily was even more openly hostile when she realized my ex's family still liked me and would still include me. Not to mention when she realized my boys weren't super happy she was their dad's new girlfriend. Emily actually insulted my ex's mom for saying I was the best mom when they were all having a family dinner. My ex got a firm warning from the judge about using Emily to do exchanges of our boys and to deal with custody issues. This was after her confronting me a number of times during exchanges in front of my kids, and of her showing not just hostility, but saying things that could be taken as alienation of a parent. He continued to allow this, and X was fined for breaching the judge's orders. He was told if it happened again, custody would be modified. Recently, there has been an increase in the anger towards me. Emily is unable to have kids, and she wanted the boys to consider her a mom. They asked me for help, and I said nope, that Emily was not their mother, and I wasn't going to encourage them to consider her one after the years of mistreatment from her. The boys had an award night back at the start of June at school, and while there, Emily told the boys to get in photos with her for the school newsletter. They said no. She told them she wasn't asking. They said she wasn't their mom, so she couldn't say that. My ex scolded the boys, but I said nothing. X and Emily said I should have backed them up and not allowed disrespect. I told them I did not find what they said to be disrespectful. They have claimed I'm a bad parent and I should not have let my kids get away with that, and that I'm teaching them to be disrespectful, etc. So now here I am to find out. Am I the jerk? Not the jerk. They stated facts. Also hilarious that they're complaining about not showing respect. Does this behavior qualify going back to get the custody modified in your favor? Because honestly, your boy's mental health is going to be continuously harmed by these two jerks. Am I the jerk for telling my friends and partner they're not the most important aspect of my life? So I, 18 female, recently got an amazing opportunity to study abroad, and I couldn't be happier or more grateful for it. I would be moving to an entirely different continent, and I'll be gone pretty much the rest of my life. Meaning I want to make a life abroad and not get back to my country once I finish my degree. My family knows this and it's completely okay with it. However, my friends and partner didn't seem so thrilled. They said it could be dangerous to go out on my own and that I'm practically burning bridges with them by getting to the other side of the world. At first, I brushed it off as a completely justified concern and assured them we could still be friends and promised to visit often. I also told my partner that I understood having a virtual relationship would be tough and not for everyone, and I told him I would totally understand if he needed time to think about it or just break it up and remain friends. But it was getting annoying, especially with my partner. He said I wasn't even giving a chance to the life I could have with him in our home country, and that I wasn't really thinking of everyone that loved me and didn't want me gone. My friends supported him and ganged up on me this past week. I was fed up at that point and told them they were a far cry from being the most important thing of my life and that this is the future I've always imagined for myself. After that, everyone got mad at me and my partner told me to never contact him again. The rest of my friends have been ghosting me. I know the phrasing wasn't the best and they have a right to think I'm insensitive and to be mad at me. I also know an apology is in order for the way I expressed myself, but I also think I did what was best for myself. And honestly, what I said was the complete truth. My mom thinks I should just board the plane and never spare them another thought, but some of my cousins think I went too far and I was a big jerk. Edit. Hi. First, I'd like to thank you all for your kind and encouraging messages. I really appreciate your kindness and advice. I'd also like to clarify, everyone knew I was going to leave one way or another. It was all I talked about when the topic of plans for the future popped up. My ex knew this too, as we were close friends before being together, but we both avoided the topic and just focused on the moment and seeing how our relationship would develop. I admit it wasn't the most mature thing to do, but being 15, there wasn't really much room for rationality. Finally, my decision is final. Only divine intervention would stop me from doing this. I was just conflicted to whether or not I should apologize. I agree with your mom. If they cared for you, they would want the best for you. For you to be happy, not want to hold you back. Not the jerk. Yeah, this screams of the crab mentality. It's 2022. There's nowhere in the world that is more than 2 days of flying away. The friends and partner just seem jealous of OP's opportunity. Not the jerk. I don't even talk to the people who are my friends at 18. Go on and don't look back. If they were your real friends, they'd tell you the same. Not the jerk. Friends come and go, so do boyfriends. While yes, studying abroad on your own can be dangerous, it's an opportunity that doesn't show up easily. Could you have worded it a bit more nicely? Sure, but they were trying to hold you back, and that's not cool. It's better to crash and burn following a dream than playing it safe and be tormented by what could have been. Godspeed, and be safe while you make your life abroad. You're the jerk. Your friends care about you and were going to miss you, and your partner wanted a life with you, and you basically told them, buzz off, I'm leaving. They have a right to be mad at you. Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or her boyfriend and friends? Please let us know. This would have made for a great series finale. Would have been a real tearjerker. Am I the jerk for not wanting to attend my girlfriend's boss's wedding? My girlfriend, 23, and me, 24, male, have been together for over 2 years. While I'm finishing my last year of my degree, she started as a physiotherapist at the start of the month. She joined a group of practitioners in another village, which is 2 hours away from where I study, so obviously we don't see each other as much as we used to. Therefore, I've promised to keep as much weekends free for her as possible giving up time with my own family and friends. I don't mind this because I love her and enjoy spending time with her. Recently, her new boss is getting married and invited my girlfriend over to the wedding and said that I could come too. Since the wedding falls on a Saturday, my girlfriend thought I would be coming, so she RSVP'd. I'm kind of annoyed because I really don't feel like going to a wedding where I literally don't know a soul, and she would only know 3 people tops. When I told her, this was like 3 weeks ago, she got mad and said that I already was breaking my promise to her. I feel like I did not break any promise. I still kept the weekend free for her like I told her. She's not obligated to attend the wedding and certainly can't force me to go. I told her she can go if she wants to, but that it will be without me. If she wants to spend time together, she will not go. She's still calling me a jerk over this. She's still mad at me and brings it up anytime she can, which drives me nuts. My mom also tells me I'm in the wrong, but my friends think I should stand my ground. Edit. Thank you for all the replies. I get that I did exclude a couple of key factors because I don't like sharing too much info about my personal life, but I realize I am in fact the jerk. People telling me to suck it up doesn't really sit right with me, but you have made me realize that I'm blowing this way out of proportion and should just go with her and make the best of it. Thanks to all the people who gave good, nuanced advice. I'll take it to heart. You're the jerk. You love her and know that this is important and unavoidable for her. It's not like she's attending a wedding every week. Learn to think of her interests instead of yours. Alone. Apologize and attend. You're the jerk. 1. Your girlfriend wants to go. 2. It's important for her, professionally, to attend her boss's wedding. 3. You promised to leave the weekends open for her. And 4. You have no other plans that weekend. Yes, sometimes having a girlfriend means attending weddings, etc., where you don't know a lot of the people and would prefer not to attend. Just like she has to have dinner with your parents. I sympathize, but it goes with the territory. If you don't like it, break up and be alone for the rest of your life, because this sort of thing is likely to happen with any significant other. Support our channel by joining as a member today, and we'll give you a shout out in our next video. Or come watch this video next. You won't believe what Karen does in that one.